Welcome back, Lovestylers. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Misty.
Andrew and Misty here again to talk about weight loss and keto carnivore over 40. So if you're over 40, thank you for tuning in today. And even if you're under 40, thank you for subscribing, tuning in every week so you can lose weight and be healthy and heal your body in 2021.
Everybody knows about keto. Everybody knows about carnivore. Blah, 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 blah. You know how to start a keto diet. You know how to start a carnivore diet.
Mostly.
You do. You know. What we're strictly talking about today is losing weight over your 40s.
Over 40.
Over 40. You're going to have to do it a little different than your 20s and a little bit different than your 30s. You're going to have to be smart and clever and make some good decisions.
Yeah, over 40, we've just had more time, guys, to have build up. I call it body sludge. It sounds kind of gross, but you actually can clear this. They're just built up toxins of one choice after another bad choice, after another bad choice, maybe years of drinking, over-the-counter meds. You may have had physical trauma to the body, bad pregnancies, and little issues along the way that all affect your gut microbiome. This is reversible. Don't be scared if you're over 40. Keep listening. We're going to talk about some of this stuff today. You know, your metabolism slows down. We were brought up to follow a food pyramid that includes a lot of grains, some carbs, and too many servings of the wrong things. And now we know today, especially if you're tuning in today and you're trying to become healthy, especially if you're over 40, that we have to really hone in on those things that are going to help us just a little bit more than when you were in your 20s.
Plus, food on the food pyramid 20 years ago is not the same food today.
True.
You know, all the crops are sprayed. A lot of the meats are injected with steroids, hormones, and antibiotics.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to readjust the food that you grew up with. You were programmed to eat in your teens, in your 20s, in your 30s, now you have to think differently about what you put in your body.
Yeah, that's a great point. We know now that grains are not an essential nutrient. A lot of people have trouble facing this. They say, well, you need your whole grains. Actually, that's not true if you follow a low-carb lifestyle. Talk to Paul Saladino and try to argue with him. He'll give you the facts. We're not about facts. We're about getting to the point here. If you're over 40, there are many reasons why it's harder to lose weight. You know, you may have had trauma to your body. You may have had surgery or some kind of health problem in your past. And broken bones can even affect weight because you're laid up. Let's say you break a leg and you're trying to heal for 6 months. You may be on a lot of different meds you're not used to, your body's not used to. Your gut microbiome will change if you are adding chemicals to it. Alcohol can affect this. Meds, stress to the body, scar tissue you may have inside an organ. You may have been cut into with some surgery in the past, and that's come a long way now. They do laser surgery, but these are all things that can be affecting you if you are over 40 or even if you are not over 40. And these things affect your entire body.
Also, think of the stresses that you've accumulated. Think of how the stresses you had in your 20s, and then think about the stresses you have in your 40s. You know, maybe you didn't have kids in your 20s, but now you got kids in your 40s. Or maybe you got grandkids in your 40s.
Yeah.
You got, maybe you didn't have the stresses of a mortgage, the stresses of, finances, job stresses. That weighs in on your body. That weighs in on your time. You know, if you're taking the time to watch the news or do different things around the house, more grown-up things, you less time to go out and for a jog or go out for a walk because you've got responsibilities. You've got kids to tend to, job duties to tend to.
So that ties in with having a little more stress. A lot of people who are at least 40 or over, we are a little bit more serious. And this is not for everybody, guys. You may be very serious if you're in your 20s, and we don't mean to talk this way about younger people. But us in our 40s, we know that we're a little bit more serious about things than we were a few years back. I mean, it seems to be the trend that we all follow. You know, your body is still new when you're 20 and things work very, very well. You don't have to worry about depletion of nutrients year after year. You don't have to worry as much about hormone imbalance. And these are kind of the things like some of us women and even for men, hormone imbalances can happen. You get depleted of certain hormones that keep you youthful looking, that keep your skin tight. You know, when you get older, things start to fall. And we're going to do our best, and stay with us on this channel if you want to do your best, to try to reverse age by eating a lot more nutrient-dense foods and a lot less carbs in your life.
So also your metabolism.
There you go. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Your metabolism is like your
Compromised.
hormones. It's racing when you're 20s. You're out of school, you're out of college, you're doing sports, athletics, you're moving around, you've got the drive.
The energy is there.
You're not so beaten by life. You know, you're not like, again, we're not slamming on anybody under 40. This is not the over 40 club. But,
Right.
you know, for example, I work with some 20-somethings, you know,
Yeah.
and where I could be talking about, you know, the economic crash in 2007. These guys were teenagers.
Sure.
These guys were kids then, you know, and you could talk about, oh, no, are we going to have another economic crash? And
We've been through it. We don't want to go through it again.
right, and that's a stress. That's a stress trigger that's going to trigger someone later in their years than someone earlier in their years. You've had a lot more living, a lot more eating, a lot more, like we said, eating the wrong diet, taking the wrong meds, treating the symptom, not the problem. And so now it's time to reverse that and to start fresh and to rethink your exercise pattern, your eating pattern, your stress patterns, your sleep patterns.
Your bad habits that we're going to change into good habits, which is very, very possible. So I don't know if you've heard of visceral fat, but we tend to hold, over 40, we tend to hold our weight right in our gut, right around our middle section. We got our little muffin tops. You can see Andrew and I still have a pooch there trying to work it out. It seems like fat goes from everywhere else before it comes off of the center or the stomach. And that's visceral fat. And the reason you hold on to that, especially when you're older, you know, years and years of these bad habits, you may have been drinking, you may have smoked, you may have been stressed or worked too much, and all these things we've mentioned.
You may have been real hard on your body, I'm sorry, like physically.
Sure.
Playing football, playing sports.
Yes. Trauma.
Track running.
Yes. So your body wants to protect your organs. It holds that fat right in the middle. Our body is scared to let go of that fat. It lets go of it last, especially over 40. You can see this anywhere you look. And we're going to try and talk about some solutions to getting rid of that. And again, we're on our journey ourselves. And we're finding out things every day. We find out if we have 2 cookies that we may be bloated the next day and have just a little more gut flaring out. I'm just giving an example of over 40, some of the problems that we see, some of the little tweaks that we can make. We're going to talk about that now. So nutrient-dense foods, we're talking salmon, some seafood, beef, liver, bone broth, eggs. These are the most nutrient-dense of all foods. And start with those as a foundation, as a fundamental. Eat the good stuff first. You can have some vegetables.
Get rid of the bad stuff.
Get rid of the bad stuff.
All your sugars, all your unnecessary starches. You know, you can find low-carb, gluten-free pastas out there. I'm not recommending, you know, if you're doing the low-carb or zero-carb, but if you're doing low-carb and you want to ease into this.
Or if you're, you're transitioning.
Get the wheat out of your diet. Start with a rice pasta or a bean pasta.
The weed.
The wheat. The wheat. Fix the
Continue.
economy. So, better choices. You've always heard us talk about better choices.
They're out there.
They're out there, and they're closer than you think. You're in the supermarket, you're looking at the aisle, You see the wheat pasta, start with the rice pasta, then work your way down to the bean pasta, and then no pasta, then go to the cauliflower aisle. Get your cauliflower pizza crust. Make your cauliflower pizza crust. Do your bunless burgers. Start with eliminating sugars and wheat. You can't eat like that anymore. We shouldn't have been eating like that in the first place.
But we didn't know.
Start eliminating that. Hopefully in your 40s, you're out of the little Debbie Twinkie, Twizzler phase. Sure. Start working your way towards the fruit.
Yeah.
Don't get crazy with the fruit. Don't put a ton of sugar in your coffee to wake yourself up. Make the better choices. Make better choices with exercise. If you do 1 hour of yoga or hot yoga, is the equivalent of running 17 miles.
Wow.
If you do an hour of something, it's repetition and it's conditioning the body. Wow. If you do some light strength training, you don't have to go for the gold and just hurt yourself. Make the better choices. Do movement that you feel good. If you want to take up dancing, if you want to start doing little TikTok videos.
I guess you can't be sad if you're dancing, they say.
You can't be sad.
You can't be sad if you're singing, and you can't be depressed or sad if you're dancing. Mm-hmm. And I even think exercise might be grouped in with that. If you find that you're stressed out, you're thinking about your kids, did I do right by my children? You're older, and you want them to make good choices. Be an example. Dance, sing, take the time to be silly, play a game with your kids. I don't know why I'm mentioning this. It just made me think of happiness for a minute, because you're going to make better choices if you are happy and you're proud of yourself. But let's try not to let the stress overwhelm us. Things are funny. It's 2021. But all of these things affect your body. They affect your gut microbiome. I know that's like a fancy word, but your gut has a brain. And your heart and your mind and your gut are all connected. And these little choices that you can make, fruit instead of Twinkies with 30 ingredients. Fruit has no ingredients. Fruit. And these are the better choices that we're talking about. I have fruit sometimes, and I'm not afraid to admit this. I'm mostly carnivore, 90%, and 10% keto. I have pineapple occasionally. I still have a little bit of a sweet tooth. And I'm not going to not like myself if I want to have a little taste, 4 pieces of pineapple chunks. Does that make me a bad person? No, because I want something sweet. I'm not grabbing a Snickers. And I'm not grabbing Sour Patch Kids loaded with sugar and coated with sugar.
And your body's going to react different than if you eat a package of Sour Patch Kids in your 20s, and if you eat a package of Sour Patch Kids in your 30s, 40s. First of all, your body's just going to get tired of it. And it's going to turn straight to fat.
Because right in the
middle.
You're
not burning it off. You're not, or maybe you are. And maybe you are 40 or 50 and you can pound a 6-pack and eat a bag of Twizzlers and a thing of Butterfingers at the movies. Good for you. I bet you're stressed out, though. Make some good decisions and get your stress out of your life, because something's making you drink that 6-pack and eat those Butterfingers. So eliminate the stress. Make better decisions. Better decisions are all around us. Choose to be happy. Choose to eat things that are good for you, that are going to make you happy. Doesn't mean you're a terrible person if you eat a Snickers. Just don't eat them 5 Snickers a week.
Sure. This is off topic, but I'm going to throw this in. For example, I'm going to give you one example of like a little life change, a little life hack that we did recently. So we live out of state from our family. We have a spare bedroom. If you have a spare bedroom in your house, Gary Vee talks about this. How much time do you spend in your spare bedroom for guests who may visit once a year, who may never visit like my family doesn't because they're in Florida and we're in the pandemic? We took our bed out of our guest room. We put it in the closet. We laid down some yoga mats, put some stones around. We have our little singing bowls, and we made a place for Andrew and I to enjoy instead of just wasting that whole room. Well, Misty, what does this have to do with nutrition? Nutrition starts with ideas and thoughts, and then goes from there over into what you're going to eat for dinner. If you want to start to make small changes, start to think about, are you utilizing all of the things around you to help you be your best version? So now I do yoga with Andrew, and I do meditation with Andrew for a few minutes a day. It's really helping me make better choices for the high vibe I'm trying to create for myself and to achieve my goals. It's helping me make high vibe choices with food. Do you know food has a frequency, has vibration? Everything is made of energy and vibration. Let's eat high vibe foods. If a piece of fruit makes you feel happy, like you've had a nice treat for the day, have an orange. Don't have a Snickers if you can help it. That's going to bring you down vibrationally. Let's try to keep it high vibe with the food choices and high vibe with your thoughts.
And also, don't forget your mental choices. Now, with the pandemic and today's technology, streaming services, it's easy to sit on the couch for 5 hours and not realize you're sitting on the couch for 5 hours. When you were in your 20s and we were in our 20s, if I was going to watch Battlestar Galactica, the new reboot, I would watch in the 90s, I'm not that old. I would watch an episode of Battlestar Galactica, and then I had to wait an entire week to watch the next episode of Battlestar Galactica. So I would watch it for 45 minutes, turn the TV off, and get up.
Oh, I didn't even think about that over 40 stuff now.
7 episodes of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Or 7 episodes of American Horror Story, or 7 episodes of Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
So just be mindful making those good decisions. And then we were sitting on the couch. It was Saturday night. We found a new series on Amazon, and we were watching it. And we ended up watching 6 episodes. Now, they were shorter episodes, but I remember before bed, I was saying, I'm hungry. Why am I so hungry?
Because you're binge watching.
Because we're binge watching, and you're up, and you're not
sitting.
You're not moving. I got up to go to the bathroom. I got all rickety. You got to make sure you're getting up. At work, I make sure I get up once an hour. If I have a desk day, and I'm sitting at my desk, I'm doing the movement at my desk. I'm stretching, and I also get up and I walk around the building. And who cares what anybody thinks? You gotta focus on movement, focus on what you're thinking about. Also, you gotta give your mind a break. We're not.
I don't do that enough.
We're not equipped. Binge watching is terrible for your psyche. We're not meant to process 7 hours of constant information. We're supposed to break up the information. If you remember when you were in school, your classes were an hour, 45 minutes. So you did 45 minutes of math, 45 minutes of science, 45 minutes of phys ed, 45 minutes of whatever. I don't remember high school, much of it. But, you didn't sit there for 7 hours and, watch 2 characters do whatever the hell they're doing. So just be mindful, making good choices, because this goes to the people who are not 40, but things are not different when you're 20s. I guarantee you didn't sit around as much. You weren't on your phone as much. You weren't like this, as much. So, and there's all these new foods and new beverages. There was not all these sports drinks and sugary drinks and sugar, no sugar added drinks and all that stuff.
It's crap.
You had water, soda, and Gatorade. That's all I had as a kid.
There was some other stuff, but
Yoo-hoo.
There's a lot more creations now and a lot more choices. Just like there's so many choices, you can't find anything to watch now. Speaking of Netflix, and there's so many choices of different drinks and foods and Franken foods, I think they're called when they're created. And even be careful of the diet and the keto foods. Creamers of coffee. There's coconut creamers. Look on the back of that, guys. I almost fell into this, and there's hidden sugars and hidden sweeteners and hidden chemicals in a lot of this stuff we're calling Franken foods now. One item foods, single foods, an orange is still a better choice if you want a little sweet.
And foods aren't, again, what they were 10 years ago. I love sushi. And I used to eat a lot of sushi.
Yeah.
And I'd go to the sushi joint with my friend Mike, and we would sit there, and it would be, fish and, cucumber wrapped in seaweed and rice. Now you get sushi, it's got all kinds of mayonnaise on it and sauces, and that's just extra calories. It's not just, rice and fish and seaweed. It's all these crazy sauces and crazy toppings and
Yep.
yeah, panko crumbs and all kinds of crazy stuff.
So guys, solutions, we mentioned some. I'm just going to rattle through some real quick. You can always fast. If you're over 40 and you're really having a hard time losing weight, intermittent fasting for Andrew and I has been a game changer. We just skip breakfast. We only eat twice a day within an 8-hour window. This is very, very helpful. Of course, you're adding water to your life. If you still drink diet soda, I'm very, very opinionated about this, or alcohol. Take one drink away a day. Let's say you have 3 Diet Mountain Dews a day, which is the worst of all the sodas. I did my research. Diet, even. Take away 1 soda a day and replace it with the water. Just that one little tweak. These are the better choices that we're talking about. Tiny tweaks. You do not have to go all in if you're starting a low-carb lifestyle. We have maintained keeping our weight off for going on 4 years, but we have had our ups and our downs, and we've been inflamed and still recorded videos anyway where we might even look chubbier in some videos because we may have had a birthday or made a choice that we shouldn't have made. You can forgive yourself. You're not a bad person. We've been very confused over the years, but if you are over 40, there are better choices, and they are on the same shelves as the bad choices. I love this concept.
And it's not too late.
It's not too late.
You always start. You can start in your 50s, 60s. You can start in your 20s and your teens. It's all about good decisions. And you should be practicing making good decisions anyway. Good financial decisions.
Yeah.
Good nutrition decisions, good health decisions, good work decisions, social decisions. Just be mindful of what you're eating, be mindful of what you're watching, be mindful of what you're doing. Take 2 walks if you have to. Yeah. I've been waiting for spring. I've been starting yard work early. I've been clearing fence lines and stuff for spring painting.
So guys, stick with us. We have new shows every Monday. Thank you for listening to our music. We are Black Eyed Soul. Andrew and I record right here. Check us out. Tell us if you like us. And we appreciate you tuning in every week. And I want to say, if you are over 40, don't worry about that number. It's just a number. People are living way longer than they used to because now we're becoming conscious of our surroundings and what we are dealing with. It's the age of Aquarius and truth is coming out. And it's a modern time. We know what to do. The choices are there on the same shelves as the bad choices. And that helps me stay on track when I think of that myself. Over 40 has nothing to do with weight loss. If you really want to stick around for your kids, stick around for your grandkids.
Stick around for yourself.
Stick around for yourself. Live a healthy lifestyle. I think maybe I'm even healthier than I was in my 20s because I did the booze. That didn't help me. I had the high blood pressure. I ate all the packaged foods. I gave that up a couple years ago. We're keeping our weight off, and we are over 40. We still have a ways to go. Stick with us if you want to watch our journey and join us to better health.
Thank you for watching Lovestyle.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you next time. Peace. Lose weight over 40. It's a piece of cake, but it's really a piece of meat. Out.